Welcome to another episode of the Man Tracks. I'm Sarah.
And I'm JJ.
He's sleeping over there.
Do you know every time you do that, you do this like weird, like you scrunch up your shoulders like you're telling a little kid a surprise. Like
That's how I talk. That's how I relate to people most of the time because they're usually little kids.
It's very cute and I like it a lot. All right, well, we're here and we're back and we're ready. We have been recording on such weird nights where we haven't settled into a rhythm yet, and it just throws me for a loop. Like I'm just because
we'll go like a week between recordings, and then we'll go like a week and a half between recordings,
and then like 4 days.
Yeah,
and then and it just sometimes we record them soon together, and but. Anyways, we'll get there. We'll get into a nice little rhythm. This room is slowly coming together. It now has shelves in it. I don't think it did last time.
We just need to put cushions on the walls and how to soak up some of that sound.
Take out more books out of the boxes, and we'll get more cushions.
We don't have any more room to put books off boxes.
I know. I have to get some new bookshelves. That's like on my list. Oh, so much is going on in our lives. Are you ready? I'm ready.
I'm ready.
You're ready. I am so excited about the news stories. And actually, we've got a fun topic today. It's going to be, I think, a very interesting conversation. So,
okay, cool.
All right. Are you ready? I almost jumped way ahead.
Do you want to go first this time?
Yes, let me go first.
Okay.
So my first story is scientists find super, quote unquote, super fluffy planet with the consistency of cotton candy.
Oh, okay.
I'm very excited. Kids everywhere rejoice. So this is a CBSnews.com. Researchers discover super fluffy planet, cotton candy-like density. Kids everywhere rejoice. All you have to do is master the speed of light travel and figure out how to extend your lifespan out to 12 centuries.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And you can travel to the happiest place on Earth. So it's 1,200 light years from Earth. And it's a huge planet with a density comparable to that of cotton candy. The planet is so light that it is difficult to think of an analogous solid-state material, says MIT professor Julian DeWitt and study co-author in the news release. The reason why it's close to cotton candy is because both are pretty much air. The planet is, quote, super fluffy.
That's crazy.
Isn't it, though? Now, as delicious as that might sound, the planet, which name is WASP-193b.
Yeah, that's cute and fluffy and makes me want to eat it.
It's actually mostly made of hydrogen and helium, so there's actually nothing editable about it.
Makes sense.
It just has that density.
It's a gaseous planet.
3,600 trillion miles away.
Wow.
So it's a little bit of a hike, even if it was made of...
A bit of a hike. just a bit.
That's just so apparently the planetary type is a mystery for scientists. We don't know where to put this planet in all the formation theories that we have right now because it's an outlier. They don't know how it exists. Like some planets are like, this is caused by this happening, or this gas giant is caused by this happening, and they're like, what makes that thing? And they don't know. We cannot explain how this planet was formed. That's a quote from one of the study co-authors, Francisco Pazuelos.
Oh, how did they find it?
I don't know. It's super, super far away. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe the article says maybe we'll find out one day, but I'm guessing it wasn't made in a galactic-sized sugar spinner.
Probably not. Wow. That's so cool.
So that's it. I mean, that's all there is.
That's fun, though.
There is a cotton candy planet out there, not actually made of cotton candy.
Not actually made.
Just a little bit out of reach.
Yeah.
Just like 1,205 years longer than I'm going to live. So
yeah. I'll ask my grandkids about it someday. Kidding. Anyways, this is a very different story.
Yes.
A Chicago teen entered college at age 10. Now at 17, she earned a doctorate from Arizona State. I have so many questions. Dorothy Jean Tillman II's participation in Arizona State University's May 6th commencement was the latest step on a higher education journey the Chicago teen started when she took her first college course at age 10.
That's just amazing. I mean, some of these kids are just stunning with their various intellect, but also I don't like it. I used to think it was very impressive. The younger you were, the more impressive it was for you to accomplish things. I think we've talked about this before, but honestly, as I've grown and experienced life and now have children of our own,
I just want my 10-year-old to be a 10-year-old.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, I don't think that it's good for your life goals to like accomplish as much as you can in your childhood time. It's like, let childhood be childhood.
I'm just like shocked that she started when she was 10. In between then and now, having gotten her doctorate.
Wow.
She has also gotten a bachelor's and master's degrees.
Well, yeah.
She just went boom, boom, boom from 10 to 17.
Took her
like
7
she
years.
is a child.
Yeah.
She looks like a young teenager.
17-year-old doctor.
Like it's crazy to me.
And I certainly don't want to make it sound like I'm taking away from her whatever. Like that's amazing, and she's accomplished an incredible feat. Good for her. That's like, I couldn't do it, and I'm so impressed. Like, amazing.
Yeah.
I just feel a little bad.
I know, her childhood's gone. It's crazy.
And now what? She gets to be an adult for the rest of her adult, like.
It says she successfully defended her dissertation in December and became the youngest person at age 17 to earn a doctoral degree in integrated behavioral health.
Okay.
So
that's a cool degree.
She is called. Her name is Dorothy Jean.
Oh, I like that.
But her friends and family have
DJ?
Dorothy Genius spelled. Her name is Jean,
No.
and Genius. Says when
That's
most
so
students are
cheesy.
just learning to navigate middle school, her mother enrolled her in classes through College of Lake County in Northern Illinois, where she majored in psychology and completed her associate's degree in 2016.
Wow.
She earned a bachelor's in humanities from New York's Excelsior College in 2018, and then 2 years later earned her master's of science from Unity College in Maine, before being accepted in 2021 in Arizona State's Behavioral Health Management Program. Most of her classwork was done remotely and online. She attended her Arizona State commencement in person.
Yeah.
Tillman told the Associated Press on Tuesday she credits her grandmother and trusting in her mother's guidance for her educational pursuits and successes. Everything that we were doing didn't seem abnormal to me or out of the ordinary until it started getting all the attention, she said. There have been sacrifices, though. I didn't have everyday school things like homecoming dances or spirit weeks or just school pictures and things like that create kind of unity with my peers. She has found time to dance and do choreography, and she has helped to create a STEAM Leadership Institute at the age of 18. Just add that to her laundry list of accomplishments.
Very cool.
She plans to spend some time this summer public speaking engagements and fundraising for a camp that she hopes to franchise one day. And she is motivated and has innovative ideas. She's most so her mother Jimalita Tillman said she is most impressed with her daughter's ability to show herself and her successes with grace, but also understand when to put her foot down when choosing between things like social outings and her education. I feel like she has to, because she didn't really have much of a childhood, you know.
Well, and I guess I just like, I'm not trying to take away from it, but it's like adulthood comes so fast anyways. We don't need to speed it up. I think maybe like a 12-year-old just needs to be a 12-year-old, and they can do the doctorate stuff in their 20s. You know,
that's crazy to me.
I don't know. I think there's kind of a spectrum, because I do think there are others who are extending their childhood past 18 into their 25, 27, and they haven't even gone to school, or like they haven't even started putting their life together. I just don't know what
I feel like doing.
Yeah, and I just think there's two extremes here, and I'm not sure
there's a balance somewhere.
It's like there's a normal rite of passage, and again, I feel like sounds like I'm being petty. I'm so impressed, and I wish her all the best. She sounds like she's got an incredibly bright future, like accomplishing all that by 17, and seems like she's just getting started. If she's like, I'm gonna do speaking engagements, I'm gonna franchise a camp, I'm gonna and she's 18. She just turned 18. She has her literal entire life ahead of her. I wonder, do you think it was like free ride all the way?
I don't know.
I feel like probably. That's
crazy to me.
Yeah.
She got her associate's degree from actual city colleges in Chicago, but then her other ones, it seems like they were online degrees. Online degree for her bachelor's and master's, and then Arizona State University for her doctorate. Man. So I just blows my mind. At age 17, the youngest to defend her dissertation
ever.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
crazy.
It is. That's really cool.
I just can't believe that.
Wow.
So.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, mine has nothing to do. Like, I feel like we were kind of in the intellectual, like space and discovering planets and people
and
doing
then we
amazing
took a hard
things.
left into
Texas megachurch hits the brakes after trying to skew a traffic study. So this is just a fascinating, bizarre story that I thought was really funny.
a Texas megachurch.
So there's a Texas megachurch, and the long story short, and we'll get into this. So there's a guy, his name is Josh Howerton. He's the megachurch pastor. He's fairly popular. He's got a large social media presence. He gets in trouble. He's pretty conservative, and sometimes he says kind of sexist things or whatever. So he's gotten in trouble many times, and he's at times he's issued apologies as needed, and sometimes he kind of digs into it like, nope, this is what I believe, and so I actually sometimes he posts stuff. I actually knew who he was. He's posted things I agree with, and then there's other times where he's posted things that I'm like, ooh,
can't say that.
Yeah, and so people have called him out, and I think some of the criticism is valid. So so a suburban Dallas megachurch commissioned a city mandated study required to get a new traffic light near the entrance to their parking lot. Okay, so they hired an engineering firm to run it. The city said you have to do this test, so they hired an engineering firm to run the test.
Okay,
you have to do a study on how much traffic is going past your church if you want to apply to get a stoplight put in. Okay, so the staff at Lake Point Church in Rockwall, Texas, didn't only depend on the engineers to make sure the results justified a stoplight. The staff prompted church members to flood the road by the church with extra traffic. They said, hey, we're doing this traffic study from now till now. Make sure you drive by the church at this time to make it look like this road gets a ton of traffic so we can have a stoplight.
Wow.
They went so far as to, on Friday, May 10th, so it was a couple weeks ago, the church, one of the largest and fastest growing in the country, according to Outreach Magazine, sent an email to small group leaders urging them to encourage group members to sign up for a driving shift during the 5-day study in order to pad the numbers. Each shift is a commitment to drive the prescribed route 10 times within that hour shift. It's great if you can make more than 10 laps within the hour, but the laps are only counted towards that specific shift, according to a copy of an email that was linked to signupgenius.com. So they had a sign-up sheet. Hey, I will sign up to drive past this road 10 times.
I mean, I get it. You really want something for your church. You really want it to, help you with your traffic flow, but that's so dishonest.
Yep. Not long afterward, everything fell apart. A copy of the email was posted on a local Facebook page, leading to outrage. People found out, right?
Yeah,
of course. It was a big giant church. Someone posted. A church staffer posted a note on the Facebook page blaming the whole affair on an overzealous staffer and saying that the church had the best of intentions. So they were like, there's one staff person that put this thing together. They shouldn't have done that. Sorry about that. However... so there's some people came out and spoke out against the church. People have left the church and whatnot. That campus is one of 6 locations run by that church.
Wow.
They claim more than 16,000 worshipers every weekend in 2023. So big church, really big church.
Yeah.
The church leaders told Religion News Service that the sign-up was a, quote, unfortunate decision made by a staff member. It was made without knowledge by the senior executive leadership at Lake Point, and the sign-up list was immediately taken down as we were made aware of what occurred.
You just threw somebody under the bus, and you were well aware of it.
Yep. So Smith did not address questions about why church staff, including the pastor of that campus and another longtime leader, had signed up for shit.
Yeah, okay. If you're going to make somebody else a scapegoat and just throw them under the bus,
an overzealous staffer. It's like, okay, then why did your guys
your name is on
up?
there. Did they sign you up? The lead pastor has to automatically take a shift. I don't think Wow, that's so dishonest.
I do like this part. We regret how this reflects on the body of Christ and its impact in our community. We love our city and have so much respect for our leaders. We will continue to work with the city to make the traffic around Lake Point as safe as possible. So basically they called off this traffic light thing. I think they're going to redo it, but now obviously they can't. No hijinks. They need to
seriously. You need to walk the straight and narrow.
Earn it.
Wow. Wow.
It was so this traffic study was scheduled to be performed. If the signal is warranted, the church would be responsible for installing the signal. It's like you have to justify it.
Yeah.
But then you
In a
also
legitimate
have to pay
way.
for it. Yeah. And you can't pad your numbers by having church people sign up to drive. It's just amazing to me.
That's crazy to me.
Yep.
That I can't imagine the gymnastics that you went through to be like, this is okay. We need to do this.
This is okay. I do think that certain churches, they get into this mentality of like, our mission is so important. It's okay for us to do anything.
Yep.
Like,
anything to achieve that mission.
and I do think there is like some mental gymnastics people go through, and it really messes with it. So anyways,
Boy.
what else you got?
Okay. My next story is, you probably heard about this. I don't know.
Right.
I had not heard of it. RFK Jr. says doctor told him a worm ate part of his brain.
Yes,
Did you hear this story?
Yes. Yep. It was quite the story last week.
Just came out last week, yeah. So independent U.S. presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. believed he may have been attacked by a worm that ate part of his brain and then died inside his head.
Apparently.
Okay, this happened back in 2012.
Yes. Yep.
During a deposition as part of his divorce from his second wife.
Oof, boy.
According to the New York Times, which said that he reported severe memory loss and mental fog. A New York surgeon who reviewed his brain scans told him his health issues could have been caused by a worm that got into the brain and ate a portion of it and then died.
Man, that is pretty much the greatest like excuse. Sorry, I forgot to pick up the dry cleaning, sweetie.
The worm ate part of my brain. Why am I such a terrible
brain
husband?
worm.
Well, it's causing brain fog. It's eating my brain.
My gosh.
It just says he recovered from the 2010 incident and that he did not require treatment for the infection, according to the Times. Around the same time, Kennedy, who has described a variety of ailments over the years, including an irregular heartbeat, said he was suffering from mercury poisoning, which can lead to neurological issues. Boy, this guy's like a...
Yep.
Okay, there's a lot of things going wrong here.
Well,
I don't think there's anything that's real.
Apparently the brainworm thing is fairly common though.
Yeah, it says...
like people
doctors say he may have developed a neurological condition caused by a pork tapeworm larva.
Yeah, yep. That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm. It says it could be something that you could get from traveling extensively in Africa, South America, or Asia. It's a common parasite contracted during
eating
trips.
pork.
Yep, from eating things over in those places. And it says Kennedy, who was a longtime vaccine skeptic, because okay, of course we have to point that out.
That is a big part of what he
I know,
rants
but
about.
I too am a vaccine skeptic, and I'm not sitting around going,
You're
I
not-
had
you're
worms
not-
eating my brain.
No, he's a very different type of. You have concerns about some of the stuff. He has rants about conspiracies. Like it's very different.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but
No.
I health and well-being are at the heart of his campaign, and he's often pictured taking part in outdoor activities and water sports, sometimes shirtless. It's not irrelevant in any way to this
No,
case.
it totally is though, because he's the third party candidate who's starting to do really well, and in some of the polls they were like, wow, he's got a sizable chunk, not enough to make a difference, but a sizable chunk, and so people are like, well, Biden's really old and Trump's really old. This guy's a little younger. How's his health? And it's like, yeah, not good apparently.
The parasite issue was resolved more than 10 years ago, and he is in robust physical and mental health, his spokesperson
So
said.
why bring it up?
Questioning Mr. Kennedy's health is a hilarious suggestion, given his competition.
Oh, there it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a weird election. We have the two oldest candidates ever to
Hey,
exist.
did you vote for the guy whose parasite ate his brain? Who did you vote for?
The brainworm guy?
Did you vote for? I voted for the brainworm
Apparently
guy.
that's normal though. I was hearing a thing about how
It's so bizarre.
when those things die,
Mm-hmm.
they just leave them up there because it's like it would be super
It would be
invasive
worse
and,
to go
and a
in
big
and
deal to
remove
go in
them.
and get it.
Yep.
And it's like they're not gonna hurt anything. Just leave it up there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's so gross and so weird and. Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Apparently, I did not click on it, but there was an SNL weekend update, and they had RFK's brainworm as a guest star. It was like a
Of course
lady
they
in
did.
a worm costume.
Real quality content these days, people.
Well, it's SNL. I mean, that's just kind of what
That's
they
the reason I don't watch SNL.
You're asleep for hours before it comes on.
I'm happy about that too. I'm happily sleeping without my brainworms.
Without my, that
Get a
is
good
an
night's sleep.
Insane story. I can't.
So weird.
I feel like I say it every time we come around, and I've only been a part of X amount of elections total. And most of the time, especially as a pastor, can't stand it. It's my least favorite season because people are so mean to each other.
Yeah,
and as a pastor in a church that has diverse opinions, people get all up in each other's faces, and it drives me crazy. It's a very difficult season as a pastor. This whole election, people treating each other poorly thing. But this one has been weirder that because of all the stuff that's going on, and it's just like they've dialed the volume up so loud they've run out of things to scream at each other.
Yeah,
they're like,
it's
ridiculous. It will be the literal end of the world if this person wins, and then literal end of the world if this person wins. Oh, and this guy has
so dramatic.
Brainworm.
Oh, and the brainworm guy's here.
Which was dealt with 10 years ago, and it's not a big deal, but it just
2012, like 12 years ago.
But boy, what a divorce filing I'm sure that was. All right. Well, are you ready for Sponsor of Your Life? For those who don't know, Sponsor of Our Life is a segment of the show where we talk about the things that sponsor our life. This podcast, while we enjoy it, and we hope you enjoy it as well, we don't actually get any sponsors. People don't pay us to do this. And so what we do is we take a little break in the middle of the show to pump up things that we would advertise if they would pay us, things that we really enjoy in our life. And sometimes it's a product, sometimes it's not. But just what is sponsoring your life today?
Okay, let me look this up for just a second.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Yes, I'll go first while you're looking it up. I want to talk about, so I've had a lot of fun the last few weeks. I was rereading the Lord of the Rings books because there's just this huge nerd, and I've never read the Silmarillion, right? And so I actually asked for the book for Christmas. I think it was like 2 years ago.
Oh, it was more than 2 years ago.
It was a long time ago, and I got this gorgeous copy of it. It's a really nice hardcover Silmarillion, and I do a lot of paperback. I don't do a lot of nice copy books, you know? And so it's really beautiful. So I finally dove into this book a little bit. It took me a long time to get
you
through.
finished all the Wheel of Time series, and then you started Lord of the Rings series and everything. So
I had a great time in Wheel of Time, and Dune is sitting there waiting on my shelf. Like I'll get to those eventually. But Silmarillion, it opens up, and the first chapter, do you remember in the Narnia books, the creation story that comes in that one? Which one is that? Is that
it's
the horse?
In The Magician's Nephew.
Magician's Nephew, right? Where the lion sings, right? So the Silmarillion has a very similar intro. They have a story of a creator and a bad guy that I can't remember their names. They're like not God and Satan, but that's basically the story, and it's a song. And he's teaching creation the harmony, and then there's one singer who wants his own melody, and it's this really beautiful thing. And I was like, wow, this is a lot of fun. And so I'm just starting it. I don't usually recommend books that I'm just starting, but it's fairly famous.
I've heard it recommended for so long. I mean, it's been around forever.
It's deep in the weeds of nerddom. You know, it's Lord of the Rings, but on steroids. It's the deep cuts, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm excited to get into the rest of it. But I was just stunned, and it just reminded me of that scene from the Narnia books, and always loved it. The lion singing, and it watch
really
the whole world come into being. And this one was really cool too, using melody and song as the sort of the
medium
through which they talk about the creation of the universe.
That's cool.
It was really cool. So it gave me like goosebumps when I was reading it. And so anyways, that was sponsoring my life today. The intro of Silmarillion.
Nice.
What's sponsoring your life?
Actually I remembered it was so I started reading this audiobook. Yeah, I started listening to this audiobook because I don't have time to sit down and read physical books very often. But it was recommended to me a lot, and I started reading something different by this author. She's just super practical. Her name is Abby Halberstadt. I wanted to say her name correctly.
Nice.
She has her most recent book is called "Hard is Not the Same Thing as Bad."
Ooh, I like
but that. That's still on my want to read list. But the book that I started reading, and I'm about 75% of the way through, highly recommend it. It's called M is for Mama, and it came out. I want to say it came out like maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
Super good book.
It's by that Rebecca lady?
No, Abby Halberstadt.
Yes.
She and her husband have 10 kids.
Whoa.
And it's just very practical, very she's a Christian.
Sure.
She and her husband are Christians. They are a Christian family. Just very practical and very just no nonsense. Very good, just very good content. I highly recommend this book. I started reading it like M is for Mama.
Okay.
And that's the name of her whole website and everything that she does. It's all kind of under that. I think that's the name of her website as well. Because I had originally looked her up a long time ago to download a resource that she had called the Gentleness Challenge, which is like a 30-day devotional / like a way to like urge you as a parent not to yell less, truly, because I've been struggling with that.
Yep.
And she has a lot of resources on her website, but she's a homeschooling parent as well. Kind of in that realm that I'm in. So, but really, really good book so far. I'm almost done with it. But it's good. I like it.
Yeah,
it's very practical and a lot of really good information. And thing I like about her book especially, and a lot of her resources, is like it's a book with a lot of helpful information, but it's not just here's all this information that I pour into. It's like she starts out and she has like this idea, and then she like breaks it down in the chapter, and then she ends it with here are some verses that can help support you as you're going through this specific thing, and then there's a prayer at the end, and it's like here's how you can also apply this in all of the information that I've talked about.
Cool.
She's giving her real life experience, and then she's like, here's what we say, here's what we can do with it. And then it's like, how can you take steps forward in this area for your own family? And it's like, oh, this is really helpful and practical and biblically based, which I really appreciate because it's very like just practical. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a good book. I highly recommend her as a person. I follow her on Instagram too, but she's super cool. That's cool awesome. Person. That's awesome. But yeah, the book is called M is for Mama.
M is for Mama. That's awesome. Now, would you say that book is written just for moms?
It is kind of pointed towards moms. I mean, obviously, she didn't write the book with her husband. She wrote the book herself.
It's just,
and like, it is
I
kind
might not get as much out of it.
You might not. I mean, obviously, you're still a parent, but you're not the primary caregiver for the kids all the time. And you're not you don't teach the kids. Right. And you're not like, you're parent raising the kids, but it's.
For sure. But this is for.
I would say it would definitely probably be more for moms who are reading it.
Well, because I think about that last one that we read, the Habits of the Household.
That's true. Habits of the Household was really good.
It was written
and it
by
was
dad,
applicable
for
moms or dads. Yeah, it didn't speak to one audience more. Yeah. I would say that this one is probably going to speak to moms a lot more.
That doesn't make it. Yeah. That's still wonderful, though. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's sponsoring my life.
That's a good sponsor. I like it. All right. So now let's dive into our hot topic because so I'm a little excited. I got to set this up a little bit for you, though. So Apple recently released a commercial, and I'll show you the commercial later.
Okay.
It's an advertisement for their new iPad Pro.
Okay.
Now, have you ever seen? You don't spend a lot of time watching viral videos, so I wonder if you've even seen these.
I spend no time watching viral videos.
Have you ever seen those hydraulic press videos where they stick stuff in a hydraulic press and it comes down and it like?
So yes, I have.
Very popular.
They are.
The hydraulic press comes down. Sometimes they're super fun. Like it'll be a really hard thing, but if you squeeze it just enough, it shoots up it's like kind of Play-Doh, a satisfying
crayons getting crushed in it. Or something.
Yeah, and sometimes if it's hard things, they crush into powder. They break, and it's very satisfying / crazy. So it's a trend.
True.
So Apple took that trend and they said, so this is my guess. It's a little bit like they fed an idea into an advertising AI.
Okay.
And the AI spat out this commercial, right?
Okay.
So they're advertising a brand new iPad Pro, and it's like their thinnest one, right? Now, you know that you want to unveil this amazing device that can do all this kind of stuff, and it's really skinny. And you know that hydraulic press videos are viral and very popular, right? So the thought was, we'll show all the things that the iPad can do, getting smushed down, and then when the hydraulic press opens it up, it's the iPad that's inside. Do you kind of
I see the thought process.
So, but the problem was what they did was in the video, a hydraulic press above a platform filled with symbols of humanity, creativity, and joy. There was a metronome, a guitar, a classical statue, a piano, analog cameras, books, paint, and more.
Okay.
Problem is the press destroyed those things, right? And then when they lift up, it's the iPad. But like what we watched was some of our favorite beloved things
getting destroyed and replaced by technology.
Yes, and so the
that does not hit right.
The message that came across was not look at all this stuff squished into an iPad. It was look at all the stuff that's been destroyed to make way for this iPad.
Wow. I
And
can see that as
so
being...
Apple kind of stepped in it with this. This was not good. It was massive backlash. Christianity Today had an article called "Rage Against the Apple Machine."
Oh, that's dramatic.
Yes. And so the metronome starts, the depressed descends. Oh, also Sonny and Cher's "All I Need Is You" song is slowly in the background. And then they're just getting obliterated in high def slow motion before rising to reveal the thinner than ever iPad Pro. Just imagine all this it'll be used to create. And so,
or destroy.
Exactly.
Technology used for evil, not for good.
But what was fascinating, and so people were very upset. They were grossed out. Actor Hugh Grant.
Huge Grant.
It's just really big.
Huge problem. Huge.
They posted a thing. It got so bad. Basically, they were Hugh Grant's tweet. How do you say it? Hugh?
I don't know. You can say Hugh Jackman. Why can you not say Hugh Grant? I'm sorry.
Hugh Jackman. Hugh Grant.
I'm sorry. It's not even that funny. But it's a lot funny. Okay.
Oh, excuse me. So he posted a thing. It was like the end of civilization.
I see.
Or
That
something,
it. I don't know. I can see where they were going, but did they have no one who was like, guys, this doesn't look so good for us?
I heard a couple of people talking about this. So this came to my attention because another podcast I was listening to was talking about it. And I was like, this is fascinating because their idea was if you are an Apple employee and you live in a very digital world and you do a ton of your creating on the technology and you know how everything works, maybe that's how you would view this world.
I see.
You know, like
if you're not, so steeped in it.
Yeah, like if you're a musician who owns all the Apple products, you probably don't own a piano. You own whatever the Apple product is, so you think it's great. But if you are someone who was raised with grandma's piano in the corner, it's horrible to watch that get smashed.
You mean if you're not like a super wealthy, entitled person with access to all the digital technology possible?
So the backlash was particularly came from quote unquote creatives, which were the people Apple was trying to reach. Right? It's like we want.
Oh darn!
Yeah,
guys. You really dropped the ball.
So they did. The company issued a rare apology, saying we missed the mark with our advertising. We apologize. But what's fascinating is like, so the video was called "Crush," which did not help.
Yeah, you guys really crushed it.
So I kind of wanted to talk. So that's the premise. You know, that's kind of the launching pad for our conversation. But I wanted to talk about pros and cons of technology in the modern world and whether we think the things that these technology pieces can do, are they beneficial to us? Are they detrimental? Are they neutral? Like, you know, are we losing all those things like that got crushed, right? The books and the movies and the music, or is it like, no, we're unlocking our abilities?
I think everything can be approached with discernment and care. Like if you are just going all in and being like, no, everything about technology is totally great, I'm not losing out on anything, I feel like there's some red flags. But like, I don't know, like I am such a old-fashioned person. Nothing can ever replace cracking open the spine of an actual physical book. Like as much as I do think it's super handy to be able to have everything on a phone or on your device, like, and I just recommended an audiobook. Like I'm listening to audiobooks, no shame. But like there's just something so satisfying and so good about having a physical copy of something, especially if it's something that you're going to recommend to others or that you're going to read over and over again and you want to underline and highlight your favorite parts and like go back. Like you just can't beat that. I don't know, but there's so many things about using technology in place of other things that like I feel like you're missing out on like sparking certain parts of your brain and your activity, like how you use your body. It's like you're just kind of, I don't know, it doesn't feel as full. Like God didn't create our world necessarily for us to just do everything in this really like single simplified way.
Well, and I just think like for me there's so many different directions this conversation can go in. Like, well, and I think about, I see all technology as kind of a tool.
Oh, yeah.
And as someone who actually utilizes a lot of those tools, I actually really like and enjoy a lot of them. But I think it really, to me, I think we have, as a society, passed the function where technology is to make things easier. I no longer think that should be the goal. It used to be, but now we've made things too easy, so much so that we're not using our brains anymore.
We're getting lazy.
I think we should be using technology to elevate our ability to tap into the creative person that God has made us to be. So, for example, I think like I can type faster than I write, you know? So I think about like the authors of like 300 years ago, they wrote these books, but they had to write by pen, you know, with a feather or whatever and an ink quill and all, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, what could they have done if they had a keyboard, you know, or even just a typewriter? And it's like that elevates it. I don't want a computer that will think for me or write for me, so I don't have to write. I just want to be able to do more of that, you know? So I do a lot of content creation, like I write a sermon, but I can also turn it into a video format, or I can turn it into an animation, or I can, you know, like I can create more with the tools. So I don't think the job of technology is to make life easier. If we make life easier, I worry we're going to turn into slugs, you know, like we're just not living up to what God has made us to be. But if you're utilizing it, then technology can be amazing not to make my life easier, but to push forward what you could be, and you can do so much more. And that, in that regard, I see technology as really wonderful, and it's like, that's amazing that I can do these things. I don't know, does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
But again, so there's this phrase, have you heard the phrase "go touch grass"?
Yes.
It used to be like an insult. It was like, get off this website, go outside, go touch grass. But honestly, I think it's the best advice ever. I think.
Oh, heck yeah.
I think people, it's like, go touch grass. Oh, I should. You should go out. And it's like, there's just something valuable about being bodily with someone that is just incomparable. Yeah, I think about physical church versus online church, and it's just, I don't know.
It's tricky. It's tricky for sure.
Well, we had a little moment the other day. So Liam, our oldest, he is in second grade now, and he had a little presentation that he was supposed to do, and it was like he had to research Egypt. And
he chose Egypt. Yeah, the assignment was just to research a country and then give a presentation. And I mean, he's second grade, so it's like the simplest of the simple,
but it was
like,
the
topic.
Cutest thing. I loved it. He was so excited.
Well, because he wanted to. He's like, I've been
presentation.
interested in Egypt, and so he went with it and he researched it, and he.
It was so cool, but it was like, if we had done it, it would be poster board and scissors and glue.
That was my instinct.
Encyclopedia Britannica, like you go find the big book at the library.
Well, call me old-fashioned. That's how I did it back in the 90s.
Back in my day. But then he had the instinct. He was like, well, I just want to look it up online.
Right.
And so we went to you said you went to the Britannica.
I just went to the Britannica website.
Same deal, just different format. But then he wanted to do his presentation in slideshow.
He wanted to do Google Slides. He didn't want to do poster board.
But that was very impressive. And see, I feel like that was using technology to enhance what he was already doing. It was not instead of his learning, it was helping his learning. It
actually was really beneficial for his learning, because one of the things that he's been working on this year is typing correctly, like using proper keyboard hands. And so it helped him a lot. It was very frustrating at sometimes, but you know, it was using technology in a useful way that actually helped him and benefited him. So.
Well, and it just, I don't know. So I thought this illustration, and I'll link to the CT article, Rage Against the Apple Machine. They go deep dive onto some really cool concepts, and I think it's very clever. We didn't even touch on them, but I think that there's a cultural shift where we're, especially with the birth of AI and all this stuff that's coming, and it's like, I just feel like we're getting tired of the system as it is, and we're starting to want something more concrete and real. And I just think we're, I don't know. There is a deep desire in our hearts for more than just this digital connection. Digital connection is fine as a temporary substitute, or it's the only thing we can have, or something like that. But we need more than that. We need like physical human connection of like a person in the room who cares. You know, and I don't know. I think we're missing it, you know, like we just introduced. So this is one final little piece is we just introduced having kids in worship at our church. And we like, it used to be there's separate Sunday school. They go to that for the whole service and then the adults can go to worship. And it's like, yeah, but we want to introduce the kids to worship. And it's like, yeah, but they're going to wiggle and they're going to squirm and be distracting and make noises. And I just want to have my personalized viewing. And it's like, yeah, you can watch it on YouTube if that's what you want as a personalized, individualized viewing. I think we need the wiggles and we need the distractions and the kids. And that's part of what makes a community, you know? I
think I still can't stop thinking about this phrase, this line. And I can't even remember where I saw it. It was probably someone that I follow on Instagram or somebody. I follow a lot of people who are religious theologians,
Yeah.
But somebody was like, I'm sorry, but I just can't get over having kids in worship. They're so distracting. What if there was a person that was there today that was their first interaction in church, and that they were a person that could be coming to the Lord? And the response was, what if the kid in church is the person who's coming to the Lord? Oh, and I was like, that's a mic drop moment. Like, that's true. Like, my kid might be part of church and go all the time, and you can't get past the fact that they're distracting. But what if they're a child who's coming to Christ?
Well, and also what we are inviting them to is not just a belief that's up in their head,
but
a community that they would be a part of. So that kid is what we are inviting them to.
We want them to be a part. And yeah, it's messy, but like, kids are going to be kids regardless. Like, it's never going to be a picture perfect thing. Adults are not. I mean, how many times have you been in a church service and you watched adults falling asleep? Like, at least they're quiet, but they're distracted. I find that distracting too. I find it disrespectful. Yeah. Okay, so it's a different type of disrespect and being distracting, but like, they're not paying attention either.
But this is community.
So that's what it is.
To be in a church family.
So yeah, and I get it, but kids have to learn somewhere, and you can't expect them to learn how to sit in a church service and pay attention if you're pushing them off to Sunday school and saying, you're not allowed to be part of this because you're too distracting. How are they going to learn not to be distracting?
Yeah, and I think it's good for us, for our practice of like, because if you make it all about, I want to view this performance uninterrupted, that's a very different dynamic than.
So go to an orchestra performance where kids aren't allowed. Where there's an age limit. But like, if you want to go to church, expect kids to be there, and give parents the opportunity to help their children learn how to be in church so that they can participate in church as they become adults. Like, got to start somewhere.
I just thought, like, Apple, I don't think they had any intention to start this much controversy. I literally think they were like, hydraulics those are viral, and our iPad's really skinny, perfect, glue them together, you know. And nobody in the room thought this is gonna go over really bad. But I think what they tapped into on accident was, hey, this is a cultural moment where people are actually not interested in streamlining. We're not interested in making it skinnier or getting rid of or squishing all these things into one. And that's not even to say, like, I bet the creatives who are all up in arms, they probably would enjoy this product. Like, they'd probably, oh my gosh, it's so convenient to draw. I know, it's wonderful. But what they did was they sort of showed us the commentary of, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost
they
like
opened up a can of
Twilight
worms
Zone episode. You know, it's like, oops, you showed us
the behind the curtain
what you've done. And no, I thought it was a fascinating. I will link the article, and let us know what you guys think about technology just in our lives in general. It's a little bit crazy, just all the things that we've done. You want to send us out with the mom joke of the week?
Yep, I'm pretty sure you heard it before because I just now realized I didn't have one prepared. But
nice.
Why can't leopards play hide and seek?
Something about spots.
They're always spotted.
They're always spotted.
I can't believe I forgot my joke. Sorry.
All right, bye.
Bye.